What is going on, you guys? It is your good old pal, Tunnel Nuck. Wow, half my head just got cut off. But welcome back to another video. I just wanted to start this video off by saying I hope you guys are enjoying the last few games of the regular season. Sorry for the delay in uploads. Me and Maple Leafs on the Man Advantage have been working on something, a podcast, and we're trying to get that out to you guys. And I've tried to watch what I'm making videos about, and I've really had to think about this video because I don't want to go over something and then the podcast come out and it be about that thing. Because obviously there's got to be a bit of a difference between the two. So last week, the last podcast, sorry, and this podcast coming up will both be uploaded on both of our channels. Maple Leafs on the Man Advantage. Like always, guys, you can find his link down in the description below. Sorry, I woke up extra early for work today just to get you guys a video out, and so I kind of want to go over, we beat LA last night. There's been some good things coming. We've been winning lately. We got PD scoring in the first period. Jake DeBrusk, Zeev Buium, and Jake DeBrusk winning it again in overtime with another overtime goal. And I just want to kind of go over kind of my thoughts and what the offseason is looking for the Canucks, and what we're kind of gearing up for. And then we're going to be switching, just so you guys know, we're going to be kind of diverting, and we're going to be talking about playoff standings. Always going to be repping the Canucks. Always, I bleed blue, as a lot of you guys probably do as well. And whether your team's in the playoffs or not, there's certain teams that when your team doesn't make it that you tend to cheer for. And so we're going to be going over those in another video. But today, once again, we're talking about the Canucks. So in the last couple games, I've noticed a big difference, especially in the Canucks' effort. The effort to win those puck battles, the effort to put the puck on net, and we don't look, like we're just out there just to show up. We've been winning a little bit more. We swept the California teams. We beat San Jose 4-3. We beat Anaheim 4-3. And then last night, we beat LA again 4-3. We face Edmonton tomorrow, Thursday, for the final game of the regular season before the Canucks are done. And we have no more Canucks hockey for the rest of the year till September, which I am already excited to see what rolls around in September and what the team's looking like. Obviously, I think we all kind of know that they've kind of formed this new core. I expect to see Hronek wearing a C come September. And, I kind of wonder if Bester's still going to be here, if DeBrusk will still be here, if DeBrusk is still on the table to be traded, and kind of, what we're looking at in terms of draft. Obviously, we're bottom of the league, so we're hoping for that number one pick. And yeah, it's going to be a crazy offseason this year. We're going to be seeing if management, something else coming out on that later this week. That's going to be the topic of the podcast. But, we got some management problems that I think need to be figured out. So I think overall we're set for a really good offseason in terms of this rebuild and really rebuilding the team and kind of showing the form come September. I'm not saying that we're going to be completely rebuilt. That's kind of wishful thinking. I think, though, that, compared to some teams, I think we're going to have a little bit of a quicker rebuild. You look at teams like Montreal and Buffalo. Like, Buffalo hasn't made the playoffs in 4 years, and great on them for making it this year. That's one team that I'm going to be honest with you, I was so surprised to see them get in. But, they had a really good record of 50 wins, 23 losses. They had a total of 108 points. And for a team that a couple of years ago, like, I mean, you would have never even mentioned in a playoff race, even at the beginning of the season, everybody just kind of knew that Buffalo has their struggles, and we get to see Crosby back in there. They're going to be facing Philadelphia. That's going to be an interesting matchup. And then the other matchup that I found quite interesting is that normally we have a Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Boston Bruins first round of the playoffs. For all you Toronto fans out there, I know that brings back some bad memories. Talk to Maple Leafs on the Man Advantage. He probably has the scoop on, the horror that you guys have sadly been through with the Boston Bruins. But we're going to see the Boston Bruins take on the Ottawa Senators first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I'm just going to say I am so excited for these playoffs. Personally, the team that I'm looking forward to watching is the Montreal Canadiens. I think that, they're a team that us Vancouver fans can kind of look at and get some hope. Very young team. And they're very good on the puck. I mean, you got players like Demidov, and you got Caulfield, you got Suzuki. You got all these amazing players that are on that team now, Lane Hudson. And it's going to be interesting to see where Montreal falls, at the end of the playoffs, and kind of like what this playoff picture is going to end up looking like. And I think the first round will tell us a lot about kind of where teams are going to sit, because I have a feeling like every year we're going to have some surprises coming out of the first round. But obviously, that's only, I kind of veered off. That's me. I veer off. I have 100 things going on. I'm constantly thinking about, playoffs, the hockey, all that kind of thing. But a little bit more on the Canucks. We are looking down the road. This is something that obviously us Canuck fans were not expecting fixed, in this offseason. I think if you think that this can be repaired and we can be a playoff contending team by next year, I don't know. I think there's still a lot of growth to be done. And, like I've talked about in previous videos, I think it comes down to development, like how Boom and Ogren and all those guys, how their offseason goes, how we've already seen big improvements in confidence on the ice. We've seen them, they're playing on the puck more. They're very aggressive. And, this is kind of what we've been waiting to see. In this last week or so, we've kind of seen a fire lit underneath Vancouver. And it's been nice to see that they're getting out there in these teams that are going into the playoffs. Obviously, maybe they're not trying, I wouldn't say trying as hard, but it's kind of, they're not burning all the fuel in the tank because they got the playoffs coming up. And so, but still, we face San Jose. San Jose gets eliminated because we beat them, and we've beat some teams that were on the brink of almost making it, and people thinking that we were going to be an easy 2 points, and we went out there, we beat Anaheim, and we beat San Jose. Obviously, the Ducks still made the playoffs, but it's just, interesting to see kind of, where everybody kind of fell. And obviously, us Vancouver fans know exactly where we are. But I think for the team to admit to the rebuild, and now that we've kind of committed in some of the assets that we got rid of, I think that we're lining up to have a good rebuild this time, and kind of start from the roots. And I'm happy that Vancouver, I know it wasn't planned at the beginning of the year to be in a rebuild by this time. There were different expectations going into the season, but I like how we kind of, we realized that once Hughes said he wanted to go, there was no other option besides rebuild. And I think that a lot of the issue lies in a lot of these guys have no trade move clauses. And when you sign somebody to a no trade clause, it gives them the advantage, because they can say, well, I want to go to this team, and this team, but I'm not going to any other team. And if you can't make it work with that team, you can't make the trade. And in Vancouver's case, when we're trying to rebuild, and I'm just going to use an example, Brock Besser, 6-year deal with the Canucks season, if he's going to want to go anywhere, and especially at the trade deadline, he's going to want to go to a playoff contending team. Obviously, he's not going to want to go to another team that's bottom of the league. He's going to want to go to a playoff contending team. And, it's hard because the situation that Vancouver's in is that some of these guys haven't performed. And I'm not saying Besser had a bad year, but it's just an example of, here's a great one. Petey, one of my favorite players on the team. I got his jersey and everything. But let's be honest, nowhere close to the season that he should have had, okay? We signed this guy to be an absolute all-star. This guy should be blowing 100-point seasons. I'm not saying blowing 100-point seasons, but the expectation is there that he is going to be one of those guys. He is supposed to be our Nathan McKinnon. He is supposed to be our Sidney Crosby. He is supposed to be our Connor McDavid. That hasn't happened, but he has a no-trade move clause. But then you look at it as what team's going to want him that he's going to want to go to. I know Carolina had some interest, but it's not only about what team does he want to go to and what team, is willing to talk about taking on Pettersson. It's about the assets that we're getting back. Is that team willing to give up assets that we need? Are they willing to give up picks? Are they willing to give up young prospects? Because we're not really in the market for, older players. We're in the market for young talent, young prospects that haven't played much in the NHL, and bringing them in and building them into the team that we want. And that's where the no trade move clauses kind of get tough. And in a situation like this, I think that's going to continue to be a struggle for the Canucks as this rebuild continues, is these no trade move clauses kind of getting in the way of, where these players end up and where they end up going to, and if a deal can even be done. And I think certain players you will see return next season. I think Brock Besser will make a return next season. And I know Hronek will be here next season. And, Petey, I think that's kind of 50-50. We could see Petey's last game with Vancouver tomorrow, but he also could very well be back next season. It kind of depends on the offseason and if there is a management change, kind of who comes in and what they decide to do with, what they're walking into. And frankly, they're walking in to a team that you got Pettersson, who's not performing, but you're still paying him, $11.6 million a year. You got Besser, who did have an okay season. I'm not gonna rain on his parade too much. I think overall, the whole team in general, you expected more from. Obviously, Quinn left, and that changed the dynamic of the team. And then we seen Myers go to Dallas, and Garland went to Columbus. And Dallas is, they're going into the playoffs. Sadly, Columbus did not make it, so Garland won't get his playoff appearance. But you've seen these guys leave, and I think that management kind of gave up at a certain point. I think in terms of coaching, from what I've seen, is that Adam Foote was basically brought in and told, just keep Hughes here. That was kind of their goal, was to make Hughes happy. And obviously, we seen how that turned out. Hughes was not happy because you could see the production of the rest of the team right away, that it just wasn't there. And it was going to be another year where Petey didn't perform to his expectations or to what his contract, is. We're not paying him to get as many goals as he is now. And not that it's all about goals or assists or whatever, but in the grand scheme of things, he's still not performing to the best of his abilities. And I think that this offseason, we will see how all that plays out. And come September, I have a feeling like we could have a very different team. We could also have a very similar team. There's kind of two ways that it goes. You know, obviously the young guys, like I've said before, they're not going anywhere. Vancouver will have no interest in getting rid of Boom or Ogren or Rossi or any of those guys. All those guys will still be here come September. But a lot of the veterans, except for Hronek, but the rest of the veterans, I'm pretty sure Vancouver still has on the table. And if teams are interested come the off season, which sadly starts tomorrow, we will see a different team come September. I want to end this video off by giving a big thank you to all of you guys for kind of, like, you know, being patient. And I know it's been rough with getting the videos out there. I do have some surprises in the off season that I can't wait to get into that are still very much hockey related. I want to do some hockey card stuff and that kind of thing. So I think we're gonna have a very fun off season. Same with Maple Leafs on the Man Advantage. I want to plan out some things with him. Still, obviously, hockey related. And we got the draft, and we got all sorts of things coming up that are going to be so much fun to cover. I also want to give a big shout out to Maple Leafs on the Man Advantage. Make sure that you guys go check out his channel, because if you go check out his channel, you can see last week's podcast already. Yes, it is up on his channel. We are trying to figure out how to get it online as well. If you guys got any tips, please leave them down in the comments below. And we would be happy to, you know, try them, because it's been a bit difficult, but we are slowly learning and we are slowly working on it. We are getting everything together. Also trying to get my playoff pool team ready for this year's playoffs. Super excited for that. So guys, if you guys want to see more videos just like this, you guys want updates on the Stanley Cup playoffs, which start this weekend. On Saturday, they start. If you guys want to see all that, make sure that you guys subscribe and hit the bell. Because if you hit the bell, it will even notify you when I upload. And that is a great thing to have, because then you won't miss a single video that I upload. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Enjoy this Wednesday. Enjoy coming off a Canucks win. I know I'm going to be repping my jersey and hat today, and probably the same thing tomorrow, and bring the season out on a good note. You know, we won our final home game, and overall, you know, it was a rough year, but we made it, and I think this offseason is going to be really good for the team. And if you guys think so as well, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all in the next one.